from stately Berglund Manor, where I can assure you I am plying my trade against the forces of evil, internet service providers, and other ne'er-do-wells on a daily basis. That's right, a daily basis. This is Kurt Berglund with a Pine Tar baseball game for you today. This is game 2 of a best-of-7 series between the Chicago Cubs of 2016, the World Series champion Chicago Cubs of 2016, versus the 2018 Milwaukee Brewers. Game 1 is already on my channel. Game 2, we've been delayed a little bit. I've been working on a new set of cards for you and putting in a lot of time on that. Looking forward to sharing more with you about that very, very soon. Working on the top 100 series set for you based on projections of players, current players, projections for how they will do or would do in the 2020 season. So watch for updates about that as well. But today we're doing the 2018 Brewers at Wrigley Field to take on the 2016 Cubs. Game 1, as I said, is already on my channel. Please check it out. Please click like and subscribe. So game 1 is over, no spoilers, but a pretty amazing pitching performance by one of the teams. Close game, very close game. And we're now ready for game 2. Let's go through the lineups for you for each team, beginning with the visiting Milwaukee Brewers. Starting off in center field, leading off is Lorenzo Cain. Batting second in right field is Christian Yelich. Batting third in left field is Ryan Braun. Batting fourth at the first baseman, Jesus Aguilar. Batting fifth, the second baseman, Travis Shaw. Batting sixth, the third baseman, Mike Moustakas. Batting seventh, the catcher, Manny Pena. Batting eighth, the shortstop, Orlando Arcia. And batting ninth and doing the pitching for the Brewers in game 2 of the series, Wade Miley. As you can see, Wade is an A-plus pitcher on the road. In 16 starts, he has no modifiers for walks or strikeouts on rolls, and he has a maximum of 5 innings pitched. But of course, per Pine Tar rules, he can go longer if he's pitching well. We'll get more into that as the game unfolds. For the homestanding Chicago Cubs of 2016, leading off in center field, Dexter Fowler. Batting second at first base, Anthony Rizzo. Batting third at third base, Chris Bryant. Batting fourth in left field, Ben Zobrist. Batting fifth at shortstop, Addison Russell. Batting sixth in right field, Jason Hayward. Batting seventh, the catcher, Wilson Contreras. Batting eighth, the second baseman, Javi Baez. And batting ninth and pitching for the Cubs today, Kyle Hendricks, an A-plus pitcher at home, as you can see. He has also no modifiers for walks or strikeouts, and he has a maximum of 6 innings pitched, but he can also go longer if he's doing well. We'll get into that more, as well as how Pine Tar baseball works in the next few minutes. For right now, Lorenzo Cain is getting in the batter's box and is ready to lead things off against Kyle Hendricks. This is game 2 of a best-of-7 series, using the best of the 2010s team set, now available at ttlbaseballgame.com. And as long as you asked, here are the other teams in that set. They include the 2010 Giants, the 2011 Rangers, the 2012 Orioles, the 2014 Angels, the 2016 Cubs, the 2017 Dodgers, the 2018 Red Sox, the 2018 Brewers, the 2019 Astros, and the 2019 Nationals. Those 10 teams all available at ttlbaseballgame.com right now. So help yourself. I'm having a lot of fun using these teams, trying them out, seeing what the strengths are of each team compared to each other, and it's been a good time. So we're locked right now in this best of 7 between these two teams, the Cubs and the Brewers. Cain is ready, Hendricks is ready, and we are ready to get this one going. A pitch to Lorenzo Cain. We'll go through how to read a Pine Tar card at this time, for those of you that may not know. The green die tells you, is a randomizer, so it tells you if it's an even number on the green die total, that you go with the blue die as the tens number. If it's odd, you go with the red die for the tens number, and the white number is always the ones column. So it's even, so that tells us blue, and that's a 7, 79, 79 on Lorenzo Cain's card. This is the right-handed pitcher column versus righties. This is versus lefties. So we go down here for a 79, and it's a fly out to right field for the first out of the game. Jason Hayward makes the catch, and that's one down. Christian Yelich, the MVP of the 2018 season, stands in against Kyle Hendricks. This one is also even for the greens, so we go the 9 in the tens column and 3 in the ones, so it's a 93. This one is a fly ball to center field. That's Dexter Fowler who's going to make the play, and that's 2 down. And with 2 down and nobody out and nobody on, that's Ryan Braun, who hit 254 in 2018. Your offensive stats for the hitters, always in the lower right corner of a Pine Tar baseball card. 254 with a 313 on base average for Mr. Braun in 2018. Here we have our first green die odd roll, so it's a 55. We ignore the blue, we go with the red, it's a 55, and that's a ground ball to first base. That's Anthony Rizzo, who's going to take it himself, and that retires the Brewers 1-2-3 in the top of the first. We go to the bottom of the first. Here comes Wade Miley to take on the Cubs, and Dexter Fowler is ready to go, the switch-hitting center fielder of that team for the Cubs, leading off. The pitch from Miley to Fowler is a 68, and that's a ground ball to shortstop. That's taken by Orlando Arcia, and he's going to throw it to Jesus Aguilar, and that's 1 down. Anthony Rizzo stands in the box. Still looking for our first base runner of the game, Mr. Rizzo, 292 in 2016. The pitch to him is a 49 against Miley, the lefty, is a ground ball to first base. That's Jesus Aguilar, who's going to flip to Miley for the putout, and that's 2 down. And here comes Chris Bryant. Two outs, nobody on. 292 average for Mr. Bryant in 2016. And this is a 15, so we have a modification check. It's a 15. It's a die roll that ends in a 5 or a 0, between 0 and 50. And so that means we check the pitcher rating, which in this case, for Miley, he's an A-plus pitcher on the road. That's a single, and that turns into a strikeout. Bryant strikes out swinging, and that makes it a 1-2-3 inning for the Cubs. Against a lesser pitcher, Bryant would have had a single or maybe even an extra base hit. So we go to the top of the second. We have no score at Wrigley Field, and here come the Brewers for their second shot at the soft-tossing Kyle Hendricks, but very effective soft-tossing Kyle Hendricks. Pitch to Aguilar is a 56, and that is strike 3 called. 1 down in the second for the Brewers, sorry. Travis Shaw stands in. 241 in 2018 for Travis Shaw. This is a 47. He's strike 3 swinging, and that's 2 down. Hendricks has it going on with the changeup today. And Mike Moustakas, in-season acquisition from Kansas City for the Brewers in 2018. The pitch to him is a 96, and that's lifted to left field where Ben Zobrist is going to have no trouble. And that retires the Brewers 1-2-3 in the second inning. 6 up and 6 down for Hendricks. Go to the bottom of the second. It's going to be Zobrist, Russell, and Hayward at a minimum for the Cubs. And Ben stands in, World Series MVP in that season. 34 against Miley is a base on balls. He walks and he's aboard, and the Cubs have the first base runner of the ball game. Addison Russell stands in, 238 for Addison in 2016. Pitch to him is a 52 against the left-hander. That's a strike 3 swinging, and that's 1 down. Jason Hayward stands in. Zobrist still planted on first. And that's a 35, which ends in a 5, so we check that for pitcher modification. It's a strikeout on Hayward's card, and because of Miley's A+, it remains a strikeout. That's 2 down, and Zobrist still on first for Wilson Contreras, Cubs catcher at 282 in 2016. 25 also ends in a 5 or a 0, and that's going to be strike 3 for, yes, that's strike 3 for Contreras. So Miley gets the side in the second inning. So we've got 7 up, 6 down for the Cubs, and 6 up, 6 down for the Brewers. Most importantly, we have no score in the top of the third as Hendricks comes back out to face the bottom third of the Brewer order. That'll be Pena, Arcia, and Miley. And if anybody gets on, we go to the top with Lorenzo Cain. Manny Pena hit 252, and most importantly, did a great job behind the plate in 2018 for the Brewers. This is a 30, so a 30 is a single, but we have Hendricks' rating, which is an A+, and that turns it into a strikeout for Manny. 1 down in the Brewer third. Orlando Arcia, slick fielding Brewers shortstop, 236 in 2018. 43 is a strikeout for Arcia. That's 2 down, and now Miley stands in. And Wade stands in against Hendricks. Pitch to him is a 62, and that's grounded to Rizzo, who gloves it, takes it himself to the bag, and it's 9 up and 9 down for the Brewers in the third. No runs, no hits, nothing across. We go to the bottom of the third, and we are still scoreless at Wrigley. Javi Baez, Kyle Hendricks, and Dexter Fowler will lead off the inning against Wade Miley. Here's Mr. Baez with the 42. That's a strikeout. 4 strikeouts in a row now for Miley. Got it going. Got it working. Kyle Hendricks stands in. Not the best hitting pitcher, but not the worst I've seen. The pitch to Kyle is strike 3. 5 in a row for Miley. And Dexter Fowler stands in. 2 outs, nobody on. Fowler 0 for 1 on the day. Bottom of the third, it's a 46, and that's the side. 6 Ks in a row for Miley, and we go to the fourth, and we're still scoreless at Wrigley, with now the top of the Brewer order coming to bat, Lorenzo Cain. So many big hits for Cain in 2018, and a 308 average with a 395 on base percentage. He got it going from Milwaukee. Let's see if he can do something against Hendricks. Nobody on base yet for the Brewers. And with that, Lorenzo Cain Drives it to right, goes the other way, and that's a base hit. First hit of the game for the Brewers, first hit for either team in the ball game. Yelich comes to the plate. Cain can run. Contreras can throw. They're going to see if Yelich, they're going to put a play on for Yelich. I don't know. Cain takes his lead. Pitch home to Yelich. Cain's not going. And that's a strikeout. So Hendricks picks up his 5th strikeout. And now Braun comes to the plate. Ronnie stands in the right-handed batter's box. He's 0 for 1 today. Cain off to his lead. And there he goes. He is out. Contreras shoots him down. Throwing to Baez, covering the base, and the Brewers lose their base runner. With 2 outs, Braun still in there. No balls, 1 strike to him. The pitch to Braun is grounded to Baez on a couple of hops. He's got it, and he throws to Rizzo, and that retires the Brewers in the 4th. We're scoreless going to the bottom of the 4th, and we've got a dangerous portion of the Cubs order coming up now. It's Rizzo, Bryant, and Zobrist, 2, 3, and 4 hitters. The Cubs have not gotten a hit yet in this game. They have 1 walk to their credit. Rizzo is 0 for 1. Wade Miley pitching a gem so far. The pitch to him is a 92 lifted in the air to left field, and that's Braun jogging over where he will make a catch, and that's 1 down. Chris Bryant stands in. Struck out in the first inning. He's 0 for 1 on the day. The pitch to Chris is a strikeout. Miley, look at him go. Wade Miley has struck out 7 of the last 8 batters and 9 of the last 10. He has, 8 of the last 10. He has 8 strikeouts on the day. 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th, and it's Zobrist coming to the bat. Ben walked in the 2nd. He's been the only Cub base runner so far in this one. 37 against the left-hander. He's hit by a pitch. He's hit by a pitch and takes his base. So Zobrist has been on twice. But now with 2 outs, it's Addison Russell, the Cubs shortstop, 0 for 1 today with a strikeout. That's a 97. That's drilled at 3rd, and that's Moustakas who makes the play, and we go to the 5th, and we're scoreless still at Wrigley, where both of these teams actually are pretty big hitting ball clubs. They scored a lot of runs, got some mashers, but not yet in this one. For the Brewers in the top of the 5th, it'll be Jesus Aguilar, Travis Shaw, and Mike Moustakas against Hendricks. Aguilar steps in. He's 0 for 1 today. He struck out in the 2nd. Pitch to Jesus is a strikeout. Hendricks and Miley pitch for pitch. That is Hendricks' 6th strikeout on the day. Travis Shaw stands in. 0 for 1 with a strikeout of his own in the 2nd. And that's a 31, and that's a walk. So Shaw gets aboard for Moustakas coming to the plate. 1 out, 1 on. Mike picked up by the Brewers during the 2018 season, allowed them to move Shaw to second base and improve the offense there. Pitch to Mike is a 68. That's a ground ball to 3rd. That is Chris Bryant, who fumbles it and then throws across to Rizzo to nip Moustakas. Shaw advances to 2nd. And with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position, the first runner in scoring position for the Brewers today, it's Manny Pena at the plate. 0 for 1 for Manny with a strikeout in the 3rd. The pitch is a 77. That's lifted in the air to center. Fowler coming in a few steps will make the play, and the Brewers are done in the 5th. So we go to the bottom of the 5th. Wade Miley still working on a no-hitter. He's got no hits allowed through 4 innings. We got Hayward, Contreras, and Baez coming up for the Cubs. 6, 7, 8 hitters with Hendricks if anybody gets on. Hayward's 0 for 1 with a strikeout on the day, and there is a check on Miley, and that's a strike. That's strike 3, and Hayward's gone. Miley has 9 strikeouts on the day. Wilson Contreras with 1 out and nobody on, and a strikeout of his own back in the second. Wilson's 0 for 1. Pitch to him is a ground ball to second. That's Travis Shaw, who throws to Aguilar, and that's 2 down. And Javi Baez coming to the plate. 0 for 1 for Javi with a strikeout in the third as well. This one is a strikeout as well. He's got 10 in 5 innings. Miley dealing, but so is Kyle Hendricks, and we're scoreless through 5 complete for the Brewers in the 6th. We don't know if Craig Counsell is going to hit for Wade Miley, but we know Orlando Arcia will lead off. He's the 8th place hitter. Then comes the pitcher spot, Miley, and then Lorenzo Cain in the 6th. Hendricks pitching a gem. He's only allowed 1 hit. The pitch to Arcia is grounded to Javi Baez, who takes it on a hop and throws to Rizzo. That's 1 down. Counsell is staying with Miley. Miley stands in the left-handed batter's box. Wade is 0 for 1 today. And that's grounded to Rizzo, who's going to flip to Hendricks, and that's 2 down. And now Lorenzo Cain with 2 outs and nobody on. Lorenzo has the only Brewer hit on the day. 1 for 2. He was caught stealing back in the 4th. And that's another hit for Lorenzo Cain with a base hit to right. He goes the other way on Hendricks again, and he's aboard. Yelich stands in. Christian's 0 for 2 with a strikeout on the day. Brewers not hitting well. Pitch is strike 3 to Yelich. That's his 2nd K on the day, and Cain is left stranded. We go to the bottom of the 6th. We are scoreless at Wrigley still, and it's Hendricks due. What does Joe Maddon want to do here? Wade Miley's back out for inning number 6. Hendricks due to lead off. They're going to let him bat. They're going to let him bat. So here comes Kyle to lead off the bottom of the 6th. 0 for 1 today with a strikeout. And that's a 56, and that's a strikeout. That's number, wait a minute, let me count now. I got to keep track. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's strikeout number 11 for Wade Miley on the day. With 1 out, top of the order, Dexter Fowler comes to bat. Dexter's 0 for 2. Cubs still with no hits on the day. 75 is grounded to third. That's Mike Moustakas, who throws across to Aguilar, and that's 2 down. And now Anthony Rizzo stands in. Anthony is 0 for 2. 2 outs and nobody on in the Cubs 6th. And that's a fly ball to center, and that's Lorenzo Cain. And that will retire the side, and the Cubs are hitless through 6 innings. So here comes Mr. Hendricks back out for inning number 7. He is capable of, because he's allowed 2 runs or less, he can go past his maximum innings pitched, just as Miley did last inning. He is in his 3rd time through the order, and he remains an A+, as you can see on his card. So he's still good to go. He's got this inning, and then he can keep going if he still has allowed 2 runs or less. Pitch to Braun is an 11. We have our first range check of the day. The range check. Braun hits it hard, and it is at first. Anthony Rizzo, it's by him. Base hit hard and hit by Rizzo. Braun is aboard, and here comes Aguilar, 0 for 2 on the day. A couple of strikeouts for him. Braun has lost his wheels somewhere along the way, and so he's not going anywhere. Mr. Aguilar, 17, that's a base hit for Jesus, and that's to left field. Braun will stop at second, and it's first and second for the Brewers. With Travis Shaw coming to the plate, we're going to get some action in the Cub bullpen. Indeed, it is Mike Montgomery and Pedro Strop. Double-barreled action for the Cubs in the bullpen. Travis Shaw comes to the plate. Counsell could put the bunt sign on. Braun's on second. Aguilar's on first. Shaw, not much of a bunter. Bunting rating on a Pine Tar baseball card, always right here. You can see he's got 0 to 9 as successful chances. Pitch home. Shaw is not bunting. It's a 66. That's a range check. That's to second base. Baez gloves it and goes to Russell for 1. The return throw to Rizzo, not in time. Aguilar is forced at second. Shaw is safe at first, and Braun advances to third. So there's runners at first and third now with 1 man out. Hendricks in trouble for the first time in the ball game. Cub infield is going to play in, and Moustakas stands in against Hendricks. Trying to get him through this inning. Maddon waiting, but the bullpen is cooking. Pitch home to Moustakas is a 67. A 67 is a ground ball to short. The Cub infield was in. The runners will hold. And the out is at first. So Russell makes the play. Shaw moves to second, and now the Brewers have 2 men in scoring position, but with 2 outs for Manny Pena. Now they've got a choice for the Cubs. They could walk Pena to get to Arcia, or they could go right after Manny. Walking Pena would set up a force at any base and get you a slightly worse hitter if Counsell doesn't hit for him in Orlando Arcia. So Maddon is going to go ahead and face Pena with Hendricks. Pitch from Hendricks to Pena. Manny is 0 for 2. So it's Braun on third, Shaw on second, Pena at the plate, 2 outs. And that's trouble. That is trouble. Drilled to center, and it's going to split Fowler and Zobrist and roll all the way to the wall. Braun scores. Shaw scores. And Pena gets himself a double before the Cubs get the ball back into the infield, and that's enough for Hendricks. Here comes Joe Maddon. Couldn't get him through the 7th. Should have hit for him in the 6th in retrospect, but they didn't. And so now it's Orlando Arcia coming to the plate, and it's Pedro Strop coming on to face him. Hendricks' numbers on the day: 6 2/3 innings pitched. He allowed 5 hits. He walked 1 batter And he struck out 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 batters. 7. He allowed 2 runs, both earned, no homers. The runner on second, Manny Pena, is his responsibility. He can only lose this game, and he allowed no home runs. Orlando Arcia is at the plate. Pena, not a speed demon, is at second base and has gotten the biggest hit for the Brewers of the series so far. Brewers lead 2-0. Arcia stands in against Strop. Got to put Strop in the lineup card. He will bat 9th in the 9 spot. And here's the pitch to Orlando. It's a 97. That's a line shot at Russell, and that will retire the side. So the Brewers finally break out on top in this one, 2-0. 2 runs on 3 hits. They left 1, and now we have Wade Miley coming back out for his 7th inning of work. He has allowed no hits. Go through Pine Tar rules for you again. Miley has a maximum innings pitched of 5, as you can see on his card right here. However, he allowed 2 runs or less through those 5 innings of work, so he can go another inning. He did that, pitched the 6th, 1-2-3. Now he continues in the game until he allows a base runner, and Bryant, Zobrist, and Russell are his opponents. He's the 3rd time through the order, and he remains an A+. So he's cooking. Wade has 11 strikeouts on the day. He's allowed no hits. He's walked 1. He's hit 1 batter. The pitch to Chris, and there goes the no-hitter. It's a base hit to right field, and Bryant takes Miley the other way. And here comes Craig Counsell out of the dugout to get Mr. Miley. Brewer bullpen's been active for a little while, and it's going to be Zobrist, Russell, and Hayward coming up. So Counsell is calling for Joakim Soria, another in-season acquisition for the Crew in 2018. Give you Miley's numbers on the day. 6+ innings, 1 hit allowed, 1 walk, hit 1 batter, struck out 11. No runs, none earned, no home runs, and the runner on first, Bryant, is his responsibility. Cubs hoping to turn this into a rally. Soria, as you can see, 66 appearances in the 2018 season. He has an A+ rating on the road. He has automatic strikeouts on 55 and 77. Maximum innings pitched of 1 for Mr. Soria, and he's facing Zobrist, the switch hitter in the left-handed batter's box. He had 272 in 2016. He's walked and been hit by a pitch today, no official trips. Bryant takes his lead off first. Zobrist is the tying run. 62 is a ground ball to short. That's Arcia to Shaw to Aguilar, and that is a twin killing for the Brewers. 2 down in the 7th. And now Addison Russell comes to the plate. Addison's 0 for 2 on the day with a strikeout. And he's done it again. His 2nd strikeout on the day. He's 0 for 3. Soria comes in, immediately gets the Brewers out of trouble, and that retires the Cubs in the 7th. So we go to the 8th. And it's Cain, Yelich, and Braun, with Montgomery still throwing in the Cub bullpen. He has been joined by Hector Rondon, a right-hander, and the man who was the closer for the Cubs in 2016 before they acquired Aroldis Chapman. And so for the Brewers, in the 8th, Soria is due to lead off. He won't bat. We're going to have a pinch hitter. And then the top of the order, Cain, Yelich, and if anybody gets on, Braun. Strop is a right-handed pitcher and was a key setup man for the Cubs in 2016. And he is still on. He got the last out of the 7th. He got Arcia to line out to Russell. So coming to the plate is Curtis Granderson. And Curtis will face Strop. He hit .242 with a .351 on base average. Granderson acquired for the stretch run by the Brewers. This is a 75. And that is a ground ball to third that Bryant gloves, and that's 1 down. Lorenzo Cain comes to the plate. Pitch to Lorenzo is 2 for 3. Caught stealing. It's a 58 for Cain, and that's a ground ball to Rizzo, who's going to take it to first himself. And that's 2 down, and here comes Joe Maddon. Strop will be replaced, and he'll bring in Mike Montgomery to face Christian Yelich. Montgomery, a very valuable man for the Cubs in 2016. Started, relieved, and was on the mound, of course, when the Cubs won the World Series over the Cleveland Indians. So Montgomery is a left-hander. Strop pitched 1 inning, no walks, no strikeouts, no runs, no hits, no home runs. So a 1-2-3 perfect outing for Strop. Montgomery is a left-hander. He's in to face Yelich, the 2018 MVP, who, as you can see from his Pine Tar card, does slightly worse against lefties. Montgomery at home in Wrigley Field is an A pitcher. He has walks on 55 and 77, and he has a maximum innings pitched of 2. Yelich stands in. Braun is on deck. Rondon still warming in the Cub bullpen. Yelich is 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts on the day. The pitch to Christian Yelich is a strikeout. He's got 3 on the day. That's the hat trick for the MVP. Not easy to do. So we go to the bottom of the 8th, and it's still Brewers 2, Cubs nothing. And the Cubs have Hayward, Contreras, and Baez standing in to try and score some runs off of the Brewers' new pitcher, and that'll be, of course, their main weapon one of their main weapons, maybe their main weapon coming out of the bullpen, Josh Hader. Josh Hader, left-handed, sort of do everything kind of pitcher for the Brewers in 2018. He's got an A+ rating on the road. He's got automatic strikeouts, 55 to 60 and 77. He's got a maximum of 2 innings pitched. So he could close this thing out if manager council wants him to do so. Jason Hayward, not great against the left-handers, but so good with the glove they've left him in. But let's see how he fares against Josh Hader. 0 for 2 for Hayward with a couple of strikeouts when Miley was in the game. The pitch to Jason is an 87, and that he got a hold of it, but not far enough. Cain back a few steps, and he'll make the play, and that's out number 1 in the 8th. Getting late for the Cubs. Wilson Contreras 0 for 2 with a strikeout on the day. He had .282 with a .357 on base percentage, but he didn't face heat like Josh Hader. And the pitch is a 74 for Contreras. That's grounded to third. Moustakas gloves it, and he'll throw to first for out number 2. Here comes Javi Baez, Cubs second baseman with a pair of strikeouts in his 2 trips today. And in the on-deck circle stands Mike Montgomery. Maddon not revealing who his pinch hitter is going to be if it gets to that point. 25 ends in a 5, so it's a single, but for Baez, that turns into a strikeout because of Hader's gas, and that retires the side in the 8th. we go to the top of the ninth at Wrigley. It's Brewers 2, Cubs nothing. Mike Montgomery coming back out. Hector Rondon still casually tossing in the bullpen, ready to go at a moment's notice. And Braun comes to the plate. Ryan is 1 for 3 on the day. He has singled and scored a run. That is a 93 off Montgomery, and that's lifted in the air to left, where Mr. Zobrist will take it for out number 1. Jesus Aguilar stands in, 1 for 3 on the day with 2 strikeouts for himself. Pitch to Jesus is a 65, and that is grounded to third, where Bryant gloves it and throws across to Rizzo for 2 down. And Mike Montgomery facing Travis Shaw. Pitch to Travis, 0 for 2 on the day with a walk, a run scored, and a strikeout. Pitch to Travis is a 40, and that is a strikeout, and that retires the Brewers in the ninth. No defensive changes for Milwaukee. The Brewers have a 2-0 lead, and Hader's coming back out. They're trying to get a game in Wrigley before going back to Miller Park for Game 3. The Cubs have the 9-1-2 spots in the order due up. And that means that we'll have a pinch hitter to face Hader. And I'm sure that would be a very pleasant task, sitting on the bench cold all game and then being told by Mr. Maddon that your job is to get on base against Josh Hader. So Jorge Soler is going to pinch hit, and that's for Montgomery. It'll be Soler, and then we presume Fowler and Rizzo in the ninth. If anybody gets on, Chris Bryant. Soler stands in the right-handed batter's box against Josh Hader. Jeremy Jeffress is warming in the bullpen in case there's trouble. Soler leads off, needs to get on any way possible to get the tying run to the plate. It's Brewers 2-0 over the Cubs. Pitch home is a 77, and that's an automatic strikeout for Soler. That's 1 down. Dexter Fowler stands in. Fowler 0 for 2 with a strikeout on the day. He's a switch hitter in the right-handed batter's box against Hader. 78, and that's hitting the air to right field. And that'll be Yelich for 2 down. And Anthony Rizzo is the last hope so far for the Cubs. 0 for 3 for Rizzo today. Cubs only have the 1 base hit, and that was Chris Bryant in the 7th inning. Hader from the belt like he always does. The pitch home to Rizzo is a 66. That'll be a range check for Arcia, who gloves it in the hole and throws to first, getting Rizzo by a step, and that will end the ball game. The Brewers take 1 in Wrigley, and the series is now tied 1 game apiece, going to Miller Park for Game 3 coming up. For the Brewers, the line scores go like this: 2 runs on 5 hits. They committed no errors. Winning pitcher is Wade Miley, who threw himself a 1-hitter while he was in there for 6 innings. And then the Brewer bullpen came on and shut down the Cubs the rest of the way. Soria for 1 inning and Hader for 2 perfect innings. So the Brewers line scored 2 runs on 5 hits and no errors. For the Cubs, no runs on 1 hit, and they committed no errors. So another close one, very close game. The losing pitcher Kyle Hendricks. The winner, Wade Miley, and the save goes to Josh Hader, his first in the series. So, we now go to Miller Park with the series tied 1 game apiece. Thank you so much for being with me. This series, this set, these cards, let me try that one more time. These cards are part of the best of the 2010 set. I don't know another baseball card and dice sim that has a set like this out right now, with the greatest teams of the decade right here for you in one set. If you'd like to pick them up, these 2 teams are part of them. TTLBaseballGame.com. TTLBaseballGame.com. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with me. My name's Kurt Berglund. Please click like and subscribe to my channel. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and we will see you soon with more Pine Tar Baseball. So long, everybody.